एकं अक्षरं हृदि निरन्तरं भासते स्वयं लिख्यते तत्। हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् अहमहमिति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति। हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वता मज्जता चलनरोधा आत्मनिष्ठो भात्वम्। देहं मृण्मयवत् जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तभावशुद्धिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः। ओहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्टात्मनिष्टात्मना सोहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः विभाति स्वयं। सोहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः विभाति स्वयं। Namo Ramana. In this, the Thursday Satsangh from Ramanacentre Center for Learning. As usual, we will be reading from Guruvachika Kovai, a work by Muruganar Swamigal. We will be reading 2 verses. Each verse reading will be followed by a short meditation on its meaning, and that will be followed by a practice session of self-inquiry for 10 minutes. After the 2 verse readings, the meditation on the meaning and the 2 sessions of practice are completed. There will be summing up remarks from our President, Dr. Sharadaka, and that will be followed by Sri Ramanastotram chanting by Vaibhavji and Pratnama. Today our puja team is in the main temple at Tiruvannamalai, Ramanashram. So we will be offering the Ashtotram Mantram and Atmavicharam during that session. We begin this evening satsang by taking up the first verse given to us, verse number 483. This is from the segment Investigation into Truth. The three segments into which the compilation of the verses is divided into is the investigation into truth, meditation, and anubhava, experience of the truth. 483, we find it located under the the sub-segment offering oneself, Atma Samarpana. This is sub-segment number 80, offering oneself, Atma Samarpana. Verse number 483, and there is a note taken from Day by Day with Bhagavan. We read the verse. Completely abandon your own will through the attitude of mind. Your wish is my wish. Completely abandon your own will through the attitude of mind. Your wish is my wish. Cherish this alone as self-surrender, in which the outcast ego, the original veiling, whose existence depends primarily on your own will, is no more. Completely abandon your own will through the attitude of mind. Your wish is my wish. Cherish this alone as self-surrender, in which the outcast ego, the original veiling, whose existence depends primarily on your own will, is no more. Bhagavan, in Day by Day with Bhagavan, 2nd January 1946, surrender appears easy because people imagine that once they say with their lips, I surrender, and put their burdens on their Lord, they can be free and do what they like. But the fact is that you can have no likes or dislikes after your surrender. Your will should become completely non-existent, the Lord's will taking its place. Such death of the ego is nothing different from jnana. So by whatever path you may go, you must come to jnana or oneness. There is a note from Muruganar Swamigal also. Surrender transcends prayer to God. The surrender that is worthy of observance is only the state wherein Swarupa shines as a consequence of the complete destruction of the thoughts, my wish and your wish, along with the ego that thinks these thoughts. In Aksharamanamale, Bhagavan says, Urmayam Thudara Pun Sollai Nan Sollai Purutharul Ishtam Pin Arunachala Urmayam Thudara. With great patience and great steadiness, you are bearing this creation, maintenance and absorption of this entire creation. Who am I to wish anything? When such a vast creation, the entire creation has been created, maintained and absorbed, by you, Urumayam Bhudara, it is all born by you. Kunsolai Nansolai, my offering of this song, my offering of this reading, the life that I have led, this is Punsol, he says. This cannot be in any way worthy of offering to you. My life of these years are totally worthless. These are harsh words, especially when compared to the lives of the great ones. These are Punsol. However, you can convert a whole heap of Punsol into Nansol. All bad is converted into good the moment we find the Lord's feet. Which part of your life do you say was not necessary to come to that feet? So the whole set of bad and good vanish once a surrendered devotee finds the Lord's feet. Punsolai Nansolai Poruthu Arul. Please bear my words and bless me. But if you choose not to, Ishtampin, but if you choose not to and decide that I have to undergo some more sadhanas, some more offering from my side, Ishtampin, that is also according to your wish, O Arunachala, says Bhagavan in that verse towards the end of Aksharamanamale, Urumayam Bhudara Punsolai Nansolai Uruttarul Ishtampin Arunachala. Now this is a surrender, as Bhagavan says in this quote from Day by Day. Let me read that again. So beautiful. Surrender appears easy because people imagine that once they say with their lips, I surrender, and put their burdens on their Lord, they can be free and do what they like. But the fact is that you can have no likes or dislikes after your surrender. Your will should become completely non-existent, the Lord's will taking its place. Such death of the ego is nothing different from jnana, the complete annihilation of mamakara. That any thought arising as this is my wish is removed at its very source by asking for whom is this wish. There, or by offering it at Bhagavan's feet. When mamakara is completely offered to Bhagavan's feet, the ego has nothing to hold and survive. The ego also is offered. The Atma Samarpanam takes place alongside the Mamakara Samarpanam. Bhagavan says in spiritual instructions that one way of looking at the whole of the journey is it is made of the duality Mamakara and Ahankara, I and mine. When either of these is completely offered, the game is over. Because when we offer everything that we possess, the I thought becomes available for offering. And that too becomes an object to be offered in this Ayujya Padavi. In oneness in the jnana of Bhagavan, the I thought becomes clearly visible when all other thoughts have been offered. So the Atma Samarpanam also becomes possible and automatic when Mamakara Samarpanam is complete. Muruganar Swamigal goes to that point. He says, surrender transcends prayer to God. The surrender that is worthy of observance is only that state wherein the Swarupa shines as a consequence of complete destructions of the very thoughts, my wish and your wish. Muruganar Swamigal says, there should not even be these thoughts about the process of surrender. That these are my thoughts and I have surrendered. These are your thoughts and according to your thoughts, the world is going on, let it go on. Even these thoughts should not be there, says Muruganar Swamigal. Even my thoughts, your thoughts have to vanish along with the ego and these thoughts, and the Swarupa alone should shine. That demand of the great devotee Muruganath Swamigal, who saw Bhagavan, who sees Bhagavan as the self, as the all the deities in all the religions are only our Bhagavan. Our Bhagavan is not merely the one taking care of the Ramanacentre devotees, or the Arunachala devotees, or the Hindu devotees, or the Indians, or this world. No. To Muruganath Swamigal, Bhagavan is the self. Such a one, such a great devotee tells us, don't even stop with just giving up the mamakaram. Don't stop and say, no, whatever I am saying is all God's thoughts, is all God's wish. Don't even stop there. These thoughts, these were my wishes. No, I don't have any wishes. I am acting according to God's wishes. Let these also not be there. And God's wishes and I also go. And the Swarupa alone shines. There the Atma Samarpadam is complete. Isha Jivayor Veshadhibida Satsva Bhavato Vastutevam. Muruganath Swamigal takes surrender to complete jnanam. As Bhagavan says, complete surrender is complete jnanam. They cannot be different. Therefore, everything has to end in oneness, says Bhagavan. Everything has to end in Swarupa, says Muruganath Swamigal. To that end, to offer all mamakaram. Without thoughts, there is no mamakaram in any plane. That is why Bhagavan says, when a thought arises, let it go. Don't pursue it, don't hold it. All mamakara arise in whatever form, only after a thought about it arises. So, go to the subtle, let go of the mamakaram in the subtle. As soon as a thought arises, do not pursue it, but inquire for whom is this thought. The answer will come, this thought is for me. Both the mamakara and the ahankara are offered to the self. If mamakara rises again as one more thought, let us patiently do the sadhana again. When Ishvara himself is Purumayam Bhudara, patience, the very form of patience. Why should we lose patience? Patiently, having complete faith in the Guru's words, let us practice Atma Ucharan. To attain this state where the two streams, apparently two streams of surrender and vichara, merge in jnanam. Complete surrender of mamakaram is jnanam, says Bhagavan. Let us sit in practice of Atma Ucharan for 10 minutes. Jagatma, you will help us out. Namo Bhagavate Shri Namo Ramana. We continue satsang by going to the second verse given to us, verse number 956. 956, sir. This is under experience of the truth, anubhavam. Experience of the truth. Verse number 956. It comes under the subsegment absence of sorrow. The subsegment is absence of sorrow. The main portion is experience of the truth. Verse number 956. By clinging solely to consciousness as the true refuge, the sorrowful samsara that arises through ignorance will be destroyed. That is the verse. By clinging solely to consciousness as the true refuge, the sorrowful samsara that arises through ignorance will be destroyed. Now, the moment we rise and identify with the body and identify with the various roles we have assumed in samsara, the whole problem appears immensely complex. The load that is on the shoulders of the jiva, to the meditative jiva, to the one who reflects on where I am, is totally mind-boggling. We find Tiruvalluvar, who comes to the apex of learning of a whole language and all the branches of study under it, comes and says that what he has learned is not even a handful of earth when compared to whole field of knowledge, being the size of this whole earth. We find that a surgeon who is at the apex of his field, who is relied on by many countries for getting the surgery done for the heart, he says that the more I get proficiency in my field, the more clearly I understand how much is not in our hands, how much is out of our hands. I do surgery and come with the clear understanding this patient is saved, and something happens and that life is taken away. And in another diagnosis, I place the chances of successful surgery at a very low percentage, and that success becomes guaranteed and assured and the patient survives. So he says, coming to the end of the proficiency and expertise of my field, I understand how little is given to me, how little is in my hands. When one member of the family goes in the morning for work and comes back in the evening, when we understand how much is dependent on that vehicle going and reaching its place, how much is dependent on How many other drivers driving properly? How many other drivers, when we take a walk in the platform, how much is dependent on that we go and come back safely? The more we meditate on the fragmentary and the tiny and the fragile nature of the jiva, the more clear is the burden, the more clear is the inability, the more clear is the need for refuge. There is a verse in Guru Vachakakovai which says, Paranalladu Paradihal Paradame Papan Puranalladu Tunayindriyo Ulagiyavayum Vendram Aranam Yana Adiyarkarul Annamalai Ramanan Sharanalladu மற்றும் ஒரு சரணில்லை நமக்கே. பரநல்லது பாராதிகள் பாராத மெய் பார்ப்பான். Other than the Param, our Guru Ramaneshwara saw nothing else. பரநல்லது பாராதிகள் பாராத மெய் பார்ப்பான். உரநல்லது துணையின்றி இவ்வுலகு யாவையும் வென்றான். Relying on nothing other than inner strength, he conquered all the universes. அரணம் என அடியார்க்கருள் அண்ணாமலை ரமணன், the fortress of security, his feet to all his devotees. To his feet, except surrender to that field, is there any other refuge for us? Sharanalladu மற்றும் ஒரு சரணில்லை நமக்கே. So who is this Annamalai Ramanan? Annamalai Ramanan says Arunachala is irundu olir, is the existence consciousness. And in this verse Bhagavan says, hold Annamalai Ramanan's feet as consciousness, as Arivu. Arivu is the only refuge. Hold awareness as the only refuge. And what is the shining of awareness within us? In Arunachala Pancharatnam, Bhagavan says, Arunachala shines within every being as the I. As the I thought, the primary consciousness of the feeling that I exist. Here in this verse, Bhagavan says, by clinging solely to that consciousness as the true refuge, Annamalai Ramanan is shining inside me as the I, as the first thought. Let me not hold any other thought but hold on to that consciousness. From where does this consciousness arise? Relentlessly hold on to that and let go of all other refuges, all other false supports that arise in the form of thoughts. There is a positive way of looking at this, which is given by F.H. Humphreys. Instead of saying, letting go of other thoughts, F.H. Humphreys tells us, Bhagavan gives us a very simple way of coming to God. Bhagavan, he writes in his set of instructions, which is contained in the book Self-Realization by D.V. Narasimha Swamigal. In that, under the title F.H. Humphreys, this beautiful segment is there where he says, there is a simple thing to do, that we should stop calling things as things and start calling them as God. We should stop calling things as things and start calling them as God. This is the simple thing, he says, that we have to do to come to God realization, to take God as the refuge. Stop calling things as things. This is not hand. This is not computer. It's only the God's name that we are holding. Now, apply that to Atma Vicharan. When a thought other than I arises, The mistake is we are calling it by a different name. How to call it as I? By holding the I. Everything is the I only. But by calling or seeing that thought as a different name, we are having two now. How to cling to the consciousness, how to see everything as God. Let the thought that is having another name, let it go. And that is also I only, therefore hold the I. So Atma Ucharam, in the positive sense, is calling everything that is there as the name of I of God. The I, Aham, Aham, Aham. So, not that Tyaga is there, but seeing the same thing as the form of God, as God Himself. That's why Bhagavan says here, by clinging solely to consciousness as the true refuge, by holding to the I, you are not calling that I by any other thought name, you are going to call all those thought names as I only. How to do that? When a thought name arises, let it go. And ask for whom is this? This is for me. Who am I? Now we have renamed that thought as I. That is the process of seeing everything as I. Then the ego, which comes separately from the source, is destroyed. Then everything is only the consciousness, the I, aham, 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 aham. Iti sakshat atmarupena ati. Take consciousness as the true refuge. Then the sorrowful samsara that arises through ignorance will be truly destroyed. That there is anything other than God, that there is anything other than the self, the falsity is totally annihilated. There is only the Ananda, there is only the consciousness, there is only the existence, there is only the Satchitananda that remains in all truth. And samsara, where is there? Where it is there for us to renounce or destroy? It is not there. There is only the Atman, the existence, consciousness, the I. Bhagavan's immense grace, which has brought us to this direct path, let us sit in practice of Atma Ucharam for 10 minutes. Ranthima, you will help us out. Namo Ramana. I request our President, Dr. Sharda, to give us the summing up remarks. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. Prostrations to Ramana, shining as a self in all beings. As Nandakumarji highlighted for us today, if we just look at our helplessness, then the mind will become silent and it understands that the only answer is Bhagavan. And there is so much of resistance actually in our mind. We think we are accepting something, but it is very, very difficult for us to accept even small things. Forget about major issues in our lives. It is very difficult for us to accept. We want things to go in a particular way. That's why Bhagavan says the whole problem is because of the will. That's what Bhagavan has told us. And Muruganar Swami says, you just surrender to Bhagavan. There's another song I was reminded of when Nandakumarji was singing that Paranarladu Paradirigal. So, that other song, Muruganar Swami says, Marana Vadane Matra Ramanan Yendru Arunai Tannil Amudam Vandotrathu. He says to change the pain of death. And what is death? Death, Sri Nochur Venkatraman says, people think death is only that ultimate, the final moment. No, sorrow is death. Fear is death. Disease is death. Death is actually defined as all that. So, fear, we are afraid of something. We are sorrowful about something. How to change all this? Muruganar Swami says, there is amudam, there is, if you say marana, if you say mrityu, then amrita, the nectar, the immortality, the transcendence of death. Arunai tannil amudam vandutrathu. He says immortality is abiding at Arunachala. That is as Ramana. Taruna mamid. This is the moment. This is the moment. I am just broadcasting to all of you. This is the moment. Charanamage அடைந்துயிர் வாழ்வீனே. Surrender to him and find life. Only then you will be truly alive, because it is so difficult. As Muruganar Swami says again, Bhagavan is saying through Muruganar Swami in Guru Vachaka Kovai in this verse, he says, even to think, let it be your will, because it is so subtle. When we even watch our thoughts, and even if we have a thought that all these thoughts are only the Chaitanya Shakti, all this is you, whose thought will that be? That will be my thought. That means I think of myself as perceiving everything is God, everything is Chaitanya. Then who is that I? Is that I different? Asks Bhagavan in Padigam. வெளி ஒளி தீநீர் மண்பல உயிரால் விரிவுறு பூத பௌதிகங்கள் வெளி ஒளி உன்னை அன்று இன்றென்னின் வேறு யானாருளன் விமலா. How can I be different? So, if we focus on something else, any object, without focusing on the I, we will tend to get caught in that mamakara. That's why Bhagavan says self-inquiry. Even to surrender, that's why Muruganar says, even don't think your will be done, he says. That is how he's quoting Bhagavan. He's saying that Bhagavan is saying, even that thought need not be there, that it is you, it is. That's what we see when in that legend of Devi closing Shiva's eyes and getting separated and coming on earth and doing tapas. And again, when she has darshanam of him to be united, when she has the vision of him, and he asks her, what do you want? She says, I am aware that we are not different. I am aware, she says, I am aware that we are not different. Yet the difference in form has led to my making an error. What does that mean? It means that even when there is awareness that the self is all, even when there is anubhava of the self, if one comes out of it and recognizes it to be my anubhava, then one has to further abide in that through self-inquiry until the Ardhanarishwara Tattva is realized, until there is no division whatsoever. That is what Bhagavan is blessing us with in these verses. The marvel of surrender, the glory of surrender, which allows us to surrender every thought, allows us to surrender every thought even as it rises. And finally, to surrender the I thought with the question, who am I? To surrender the I thought as well to Ramana, who is the self. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. Namo Ramana Vaibhavji and Tat Namo. Can we start the Ashtotram?
Yes, sir.
Namo Ramana.
नमो रमण भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योमि मात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं चिन्तयामि ॐ महासेन महंसेन जाताय नमः ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः ॐ गुरवे नमः ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः ॐ महौजसे नमः ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः ॐ जगद्दितावताराय नमः ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः ॐ सहायाम्बासहायवते नमः ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः ॐ तीव्राय नमः ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः ॐ तपोमयाय नमः ॐ उदासीनाय नमः ॐ महायोगिने नमः ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः ॐ कुशाग्रधिये नमः ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसम्भ्रमाय नमः ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः ॐ सवित्रे नमः ॐ स्थिराय नमः ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः ॐ पुल्लाङ्कुश विलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहास श्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूडिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातीताय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजितचलाकृतये नमः। ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणास्य निभाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईड्याय नमः। ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयाणवाय नमः। ॐ श्रीशोणाचलहृद्बोधस्कन्धाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताम्बुसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्माते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मात्रमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुलीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादकसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ ऋच्छान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्थिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। गुणादृशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमणभगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनामपूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थानोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्याजलिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाहविवश सादात्म्यभावं गतः प्रविनष्टस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनासेकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नमः इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय
Namo Ramana.